One of my favorite people in the entire universe. I'm reminded of them in this moment. You know, we hung out for a long ass time. This was a brother. Is a brother to me still. But nowadays we don't talk very much. This person said to me one time, I don't know what to do. I'm unraveling. And, you know, at this time in my life, I felt like I was on top of the ball with a whole bunch of shit. And so I remember what I said to him. I said, well, actually, I guess I'll give you the context. He was looking for a job, and I went with him to this job interview, trimming bonsai trees, being a gardener of sorts. And next thing you know, after that sort of job interview, we're just chilling in the car, just kind of going over everything, talking and whatnot, going over everything. And he says, and he gets a call from some dude from a different kind of business, a kind of business where you'd wear like suits, ties, formal wear, shit like that. And he's like, dude, I don't know what to do. He says, I'm unraveling. I don't know what to trust anymore. Should I do this or not? And I was like, I basically just said, yeah, you know what, dude? He said he didn't know whether or not he could trust this guy. And I remember what I said to him. I said, you can trust that guy to the extent that you can trust yourself. Little Wayne once said, let the world be your mirror. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I need an actual mirror. Because sometimes I feel like I can't see myself in the world. Dude. I just watched the movie Contact. Christ. Dude, it reminded me of the time that blasted off into DMT land. And so does this moment right here, actually, for me. One of the first times that I actually did DMT was I was a vagrant. Okay, I was a real fixer-upper. And so I was a degenerate, just off doing drugs in my car, hiding away from my family. And living the dream. And so I remember one time I didn't even, dude, I had like the whole goddamn kit inside my car. That kit would go with me everywhere. I would hide it inside of a jacket, inside of a plastic bag, inside of another paper bag, inside of a black wrapped up garbage bag. Just fucking bags on bags on bags. Patrick, SpongeBob, what's in here? Where'd you put the fucking chocolate? And I remember I brought a notebook. I was on my beads shit at the time, dude. I was wearing my fucking beads and all that. Beads and dangly necklaces. And so I remember I had the notebook out and I was ready to blast. I was ready to blast off. I had it sandwiched. I had the orange Cheeto dust sandwiched in between the leafy greens, if you know what I mean. And I flick that bic, my homie. I flick that bic. One, two, whoa, three, and I'm gone with the wind. I remember I had my notebook, and I had my notebook open, and right before I even did this, I thought to myself, am I like intruding on something sacred in this moment in time? Should I not have my notebook open and my pen out ready to document what the hell's about to happen to me? Apprehension. Now, apprehension is a kind of common through line between, in every aspect of my life, whether I'm recording something sacred and divine, like blasting DMT from the driver's side seat of your vehicle in a guest parking spot in like the dark corner of your neighborhood, something as sacred as that, or whether or not I'm planning out whatever day that I'm about to embark upon, whether I'm deciding I'm going to go get some cheese or some salad at the store. Common through line is always, am I about to make the right move? Whether it's something big or little, or right for me or wrong for me, or DMT or porta potty extravaganza. Like, there is these things. Anywho, I watched that movie Contact, bro. Oh my god. And that sequence when she, spoiler alert, she watched that movie. That movie was awesome. Tune in to the movie, tune in. She drops into that translucent world. Whew. She's gone for 40 seconds. And she has 18 hours of an experience in there. She's just in that dreamland. You see, there's this analogy about what the universe is, or an aspect of it. And the analogy is that we're all blind people. We're all really tiny blind people surrounding this huge ass elephant. And we're all like touching different parts of it, and we're like, guys, this is what it is. This is what it is. We're touching the tusk. We're like, it's hard as shit, and it's pointy, and it's sharp and spiky right here. Ooh. And then someone's over there squeezing the trunk, fingering the nostrils, and they're like, guys, this is strange. It's a little weird over here. And then there's the poor guy over by the asshole. He's like, this is a little weird. There's a portal. It goes somewhere. I'm gonna figure some shit out. And so, well, if this is an aspect of the universe, which I met, with that analogy, I could picture it pretty clearly. Things being very similar to that, everyone's got their own sort of unique situations and what have you. I guess what it makes me think is that I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because I don't want to believe it. Like, that this is hopeless. Part of it's hopeless. Part of it is hopeless. Like, if I'm over here touching this part of the elephant, I'm like, guys, this part of the elephant, this is part of the elephant. It's like, nobody is where I'm at. There's not a soul who's, where I'm at, so me sort of giving them the coordinates and, writing these detailed descriptions of this part of the elephant, all the ancillary data that goes with that is like, it's partly it's arbitrary, but it's also extremely eye-opening to the nature of reality, because if this would not be able to help a soul out there, if me giving my particular description on my part of the elephant does absolutely nothing at all, well then, what then, right? What then, right? Am I going to stick with the elephant analogy? It's like, how much fun can you have? Or perhaps it's more like, what else is there to do? But I don't want this idea of it being hopeless kind of permeating the air. Because life is a progression. Life is figuring things out step by step. Life is the principles, the laws of thermodynamics. Something that we have the ability to do is we can hold ourselves in a kind of position for a while. And sometimes we'll just hold it there just to see, what the fuck is going on, from that perspective. The path less traveled type beat. And then when all's said and done, we find that neutral zone where we're at ease once more. I always get a little paranoid. I get a lot of paranoid, actually. I get pretty I'm not going to say overwhelmed with paranoia. I'm going to say that my system simply floods my entire existence with paranoia and skepticism and fighting, mistrust, doubt, these kinds of things. And it always comes from, it's because of the internet. Well, I have an inkling that it's not because of the internet. I have an inkling that it's a little bit like this analogy that I heard one time. There was a blonde chick that went to the doctor, and she says, Doctor, my whole body's in pain. And he's like, what do you mean? And so she takes her pointer finger and she touches her forearm, and she says, Izzy, it hurts when I touch here. And then he's like, oh, there's nothing there. And then she touches her shoulder too, and she's like, it hurts here too. He looks at the shoulder, he's like, nothing there. She touches her nose, she says, my freaking nose, it hurts too. She goes through, she touches every part of her body, her titty, her clavicle, her calf. She says, it all hurts. And then the doctor, he looks at her hand, and she has a cut on her finger. So somewhere along the way, I have pinpointed all of my ailments to the internet. But in my at the surface level, I've pinned my ailments to the internet, but somewhere a little further into the organized confusion that I am, somewhere in the recesses of that, I'm like, it's probably not the internet, it's probably more of a me thing. Because in my heart of hearts, I get caught up there's different kinds of rat races. There's the 9-to-5 rat race, and then, you escape the 9-to-5 rat race only to get shuttled into another fucking kind of race. It's like when Nemo finally escaped the aquarium. He was still trapped in a plastic bag in the middle of the ocean. He still had to figure some other shit out. And then, after he gets free of the fucking plastic bag in the ocean, it's like, great. Right? Now what, ho? Now what? And so we're after we break free from one sort of entrapment or one kind of puzzle, we're, now we just have some more shit to deal with. Now, is this a reality, or is this some kind of nightmare kind of dream sequence that I'm conjuring up into the world? But it's all, but we make our reality. At any given point in time, we can just float off into the wind, into the atmosphere via wind, like a dandelion seed. There are things that never... There are aspects of my reality that have never really dawned upon me, or that never really sort of bled down to a place where I can really feel it and really see it. Like, I'm pretty terrified. I was scrolling Instagram one time, and there was this one quote from a poet. He said, "Yep, let me get rid of my crutches one by one, and let the footsteps that you see in the snow, let them show the struggle of someone who didn't have any crutches or shoulders to rely upon." And I was like, fuck, does that mean I have to let go of this person that has been, like, influential, impactful, who I loved and all these things? And it's like, they've been a bright light in my world. I have to let go of them? Is this what it is? Aang from Avatar. You showed me in the third chakra that love was a good thing. You're telling me I gotta let go of her to enter the Avatar state? If you leave now, you'll never be able to open it. No! My favorite part of life is the part where we meet up in the subterranean world together. Like two blind agents flying through the air, through the sewers. Hanging by our legs, by our knees, on the trapeze, reaching out to one another. Hey, grab on, hold, fire volley. Dude, that kind of shit, that's my favorite part of life. There's one dude This one dude today, I posted something, and what came back to me in the world is something that I don't even know what to think about. It was because there's a saying out there. There's a saying, and it goes a little bit like this. People will say, like, it's harder to convince somebody that they're wrong. Like, it's easier to fool somebody than to convince them that they're wrong, or something like that. Like, it's harder to tell somebody that they're wrong about something than it is to just, I don't know. I don't know how the quote goes. But people out there have probably heard what I'm referring to. And so, like, oftentimes I think to myself, I'm like, how many people just kind of let things slide? They think whatever they think. They have, like, some perspective that might be informative to me in some kind of way. But then they just think to themselves, yeah, this guy, he's just not going to get it. And so I feel like I've been contacted by one fucking dude. One dude. And I think to myself, it's like, I've been sending letters out. Dude, I've been sending letters out to the world, though. And I get one back. So I'm thinking to myself, like, this has to mean something, right? And so this information that I got back scared the fuck out of me, dude. It scared the shit out of me, dude. Like, it was, specifically, he commented, he said, enlightenment is understanding the archons and their influence on the world. Now, this reminds me of that dude. This reminds me of that dude from Waterloo. The vampires in Waterloo now. Anyways, I pop on a video learning. First, I look it up on the internet. What is an archon? It says they are the 9 beings that control the universe and Genesis and creation in Gnostic belief. I end up watching one of these videos again. AI generated video. I didn't like it very much. You know, the whole time it was binary. It was binary, and it was between doubt or just move forward. And I'm of the nature that I'm like, dude, why even look back? Go! Just fucking jump. Run. If you've ever played the game Heart of Darkness, where you're just this little kid who rides through a spaceship, he lands on a fucking new planet. He's got a goddamn spaghetti strainer as a helmet, homemade weaponry, and then he's just dealing with a whole bunch of like slimy fucking black Zetsu, goddamn fucking Venom, Carnage Venom from Spider-Man universe, just sludge, alien sludge, and he's just traveling through the world like, oh, go, there's no time, go. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much, dude, pretty much something like that, because fucking hell, go, Jesus Christ. You know, as I'm listening to this YouTube video of what Archons are, I'm thinking to myself, like, this whole thing is like my own mind taking on this data and entrenching myself within it to the point where it's like, yep, don't trust your body, don't trust what you think your soul is, don't trust what you think your spirit is, don't trust anything that you think you are. You know what you really are? Stay silent in transcendental meditation for a second and just hold yourself absolutely still. Don't even breathe. Don't even do any of these things. Watch as your emotions, they pass through you without having to react or respond to them. This is what you truly are. And I'm like, annoyed. I'm annoyed. You know, living like that in this moment in time makes me think of there was some like Pixar animated movie where like one of the characters, they run into their closet, they open up a little Coraline door, a little corridor from Coraline, boom, little crazy ass little like what do you call those things in the ceiling? It's like a trap door or into an attic, and they crawl in there, and it's like a little safe house or something like that. It's like just a little lead box. What do they call those? They call it like a little confinement room, a little, and it's like essentially like the same thing as getting like one of those paper bags, and just like, I've never actually seen somebody do this in real life, but they get like a paper bag and they just start breathing into it. Inhale, exhale. And it's like, this is supposed to calm them down. I'm like, I don't like being held in that way. And so, I suppose these are my personal forms of neuroses, my personal plights, and I don't even have any good answers as to what to do about such this, because I'm an oscillating sort of cretin of the night. I think to myself, initially I think to myself, yeah, basically, I'm right. I think to myself, basically, yep, no one's, ain't nobody gonna pay my pride, ain't nobody gonna hold me down, oh no, I've got to keep on moving, this kind of thing, just fucking nothing's gonna stop, and don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time, I'm having a ball, shit like this, where it's like, yep, no one's gonna come in between me and whatever sort of vision or expression or whatever. And then I also think, the sort of complete opposite of the spectrum where I'm like, am I missing something? Is there a part of my game that's like completely wrong? Let me see what's out there in the world. Let me see if there's some piece of information out there that, I could totally add to my arsenal. I can add to my freaking, my Pokepack, my Rolodex of info or understanding or wisdom or something helpful, useful, or I don't even know at this point, like just something different, like a different perspective, like just to look back or to look over, to go fucking cheat off of that guy's test. Hey, what did he fucking mark down for 28? Wait, do we even have the same form? How many different tests are there made? Fuck. He didn't even... fucking he Christmas treed that shit. He doesn't know shit either. Fuck. Damn it. Or wait. What if that is legitimate? What if he isn't guessing? I go into like these kind of weird ass rabbit holes of just like... It's like skepticism. It's just one doubt after another. It's like it's a Rube Goldberg machine of just me questioning myself every step of the way. Down, through, wherever that thing of motion is, it's just that sort of thing. And I don't think that I can pin anything down to, basically just stay off of Instagram, stay off of social media, don't listen to any YouTube, just simply drop your phone somewhere, do a little post and ghost, and you're all good. It's like, I have this freaking, I'm a scab picker, you know what I'm saying? Like, scab picker, I've been a nail biter, like, I freaking, I get into it, dude. I get into it. Like in my soul, I just, in my soul, like, I want to be able to just, like walk through that finish line and just have that ribbon just sort of, get stuck. I just want that ribbon to get stuck on my stomach and my chest as I pass through, and it falls like tentacles in the wind behind me. Like, I'm past this, I'm through this, and yet for whatever reason, like my real life, like the real life equivalent of whatever that sort of little scene is in my mind it's not like a 1-to-1 kind of ratio representative of my experience with it. Because somewhere in me exists that little doubt of let me just take on a few other perspectives. Just let me see what else is out there in the world. And that clash is pretty it's like a game of chicken. They fucking crashed pretty head-on collision between like that and then just the whole MGTOW, men going their own way type of shit. because I get sent that fucking video today. This dude, he sends me, enlightenment is blank, 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 blank. Archons controlling the world. I look up archons, it's demonic shit. I think to myself, this is terrifying. Let me go into it. And so I end up spending like an hour just ingesting this information that it basically, it says, you know why I hate it? I hate it because it's like this thing that overlays itself over my life, and it's these things that I can resonate with, and then it's just a whole schematic of how that's how you should not live your life, and it's all about how I'm wrong, and I'm like, I hate every part of this, every part of it. And then they even state in the little fine print of the little footnotes of it, they say, and you're gonna feel frustrated about this, and it's like, I hate you. You kidding me? It's like everything down to a T. If you've ever seen that Will Ferrell movie where he just like spawns into some fucking world where he hears this woman narrator, and then the narrator is a writer who's writing a book, and then the book that she's writing happens to be the dialogue inside of his own consciousness. And then it's like he's brushing his teeth, and then she's like, she writes down, she's like, and he brushes his teeth, swishes it 38 times on his left side, on the bottom left of his back molars, and he does this for 18 seconds. And the dude, he just hears this in real time, and he's going fucking insane. Like, me, dog. Me. I'm not alone in this shit. Obviously, I'm not alone in this shit. But that living in that kind of world, help. I find that my life usually comes down to this kind of thing, where, I end up needing to free myself from myself. I'll put up some kind of wall, some kind of fence or boundary, some kind of way of being or something like that I've constructed to protect myself or to get through the world in some kind of way, and then I'll be stuck there for a second. I'll be stuck there, and I'll be like, I'll be stuck there until I kind of remember that it's like, oh yeah, this is... It's kind of my responsibility to be in like the air traffic controller of like how I want to feel in my life, in my body. And it's like I am the paper shredder. I am I'm all the appliances. I'm the electricity bill. I'm the juicer that you no longer use, that you put in the garage I'm that too. All right, guys. So I'm touching. I think, dude. I don't know. Is this the elephant's testicles or something? I'm touching something strange over here, guys. It's voluptuous and wrinkly. It's got a weird texture to it. Smells weird too. All right, guys. Let me enlighten you about this part of the elephant. Yeah, this part of the elephant, I'm of the nature that says follow your passions, follow your dream, go into your dream, do some dream analysis, enjoy your dream, lucid dream, go and lucid dream some shit, Go and pretend you're your favorite fucking character, dude. Bring these ideas to real life. Because here's something, right? This is a little taboo, what I'm going to talk about, but who give a fuck? I think we should talk about more taboo shit more often, more openly. So I recently, so one of the most influential books that I've ever read in my entire life might be a product of the time that I read it, to the degree that I took this book very seriously, what have you, but it's The Tao of Wu, written by the RZA, who's a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, and, because of this book, I got introduced to the 5% Nation, the Supreme Mathematics, a whole fucking world of belief that I never even knew of. And I went haywire, real schizo on that shit, paranoid as a mofo. After a while, after the information got even more real in my life, it's like, this is kind of how things work in my life. At first it's just, and then after a while it becomes more, whoa. It becomes more real, really intense. It's like, everything's dialed up. The HD is in 8K now, and shit's getting crazy. And so, this kind of event happened in my life, and blah, 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 so, I'm doing the sort of liaison, I'm doing the little Tarzan swing, vine from that to, I was watching a Joe Rogan interview with the RZA recently, and because of how influential the RZA was in my life at one point. And you know what? He mentioned that, like, he was talking about the kind of foods that he eats at some point during this podcast in the conversation that they had, and he mentioned that he's been eating a lot of tofu recently. And he also mentioned that he always carries around with him pumpkin seeds. And so what do you know? Tofu is a part of the fucking foods that I eat every day. And pumpkin seeds are too. And so when I went to the kitchen earlier today to eat some pumpkin seeds, do you know what I felt like inside of my life? I felt like the fucking RZA. I felt like the RZA was living through me in that moment in time. And like, dude, if I'll watch a show, whoever I like in that show, I start feeling like, or I will start emulating, I'll start imitating. I'll feel as if I were these people. These people were me. And so I guess the reason why I say this is a few reasons. The first in which is like, dude, the world is a little, first of all, I don't even know exactly. So I guess I'll just wade. I'll just fucking walk into this shit. It's like, we all have the ability to put like soul stamps on shit. Like the RZA put a soul stamp on tofu in my life. The RZA put a soul stamp on pumpkin seeds in my life. It's like, I guess this really isn't much of an idea. I guess it was just something that I wanted to share, like an aspect of my experience in my life, but I don't find it to be, the reason why I don't see it as much of anything at all is because it doesn't do anything for me in this moment now, and it doesn't really do anything that I can perceive, affecting my future. But this does affect the listeners of this. I'll talk about water bottles. Holy shit. Dude, oh my God. I remember years ago, I was going psychotic, and my brother, he comes into my room or something like that, and he just said something like, they put LSD in the water. Or you know how they did that shit? They put LSD in the water. And I swear to God, dude, every time I drank water from that day forward, as I was just getting crazier and crazier, I would have, no joke, like the placebo effect in full effect right there. I would just go batshit insane. Like my mind would go haywire every time I was about to drink water or I was drinking water. Just go crazy. It was like some ridiculous shit. But I guess it just goes to show how fucking powerful, how much gravity the mind has. Because I guess what I'll see in my life is anytime my mind is caught up in some shit and I feel sufficiently restricted by it, in my straitjacket, in my proverbial straitjacket, my soul straitjacket, where I just feel clenched and unable to really talk about anything, scared mostly, my whole mind will conspire with the external universe to, hallucinate various tidbits of information in such a way that it, reflects back to me what it is that I'm currently feeling in that moment, which oftentimes is paranoia or fear, apprehension, hesitation, and these things. So, guys, this has been the time of my life, time of my freaking life. I'm gonna go do some other things in some other places. Peace.